So this page on discipline practice, I just want to go over it for like a quick second, and then we can just jump straight into questions. Also, I think everybody should read the book Mastery by Robert Greene. So it gives you an understanding of just how to get good at something. Like I call it, for me, I mentally override my muscle memory. So like right now, even my jump shot, I stopped shooting for a long time, and so I turned my head like a little bit to the left when I was shooting, and so I'm trying to make that go away. So like I was just in the gym, I was just there like an hour ago, and literally just standing in front of the basket, like mentally making sure my shot path is straight on and my head is not turning. I'm just doing that over and over and over. So I'm overriding my muscle memory by being conscious and aware of exactly what I'm doing. And you can do that with anything. Like there's nothing in the world that you can't do that with. It just takes a real amount of focus and want to. You know what I'm saying? Because like I shoot in slow motion now just so I can make sure it's like I want my shot to be on this path and I want to shoot from this point. And so I like mentally will my muscles into doing that over and over and over and over until it overrides my old muscle memory and becomes a part of what I want to do. So then I can just shoot wherever without having to think about it. So that's really how it goes. So there's this quote in here and it says, if I don't practice for a day, I know it. If I don't practice for 2 days, my wife knows it. And if I don't practice for 3 days, the world knows it. And I think with that quote, they're trying to get people to understand that, you know, missing even one day matters. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to get really good at something and you're trying to master the game and you're trying to do all these things, it's like you really gotta just get up and go and show up. I think that's the first part to actually, just becoming great at something is literally just showing up. Like I always say, if you can't get yourself to do something or you dread working out or you dread doing, discipline work or whatever it is, just show up and don't be like, okay, I'm gonna do this for 3 hours or I'm gonna work on this. Just literally go to the gym. Make it a habit of showing up and doing just the bare minimum at first. And then when you get there, eventually you'll start to, just put in work because you're just there. So you're like, okay, I've been showing up every day. I might as well do something. Then you just gradually add on more and more and more work, and it doesn't feel like a force. But I think you got to start at the lowest barrier or the lowest level of entry that you can in order to get yourself to do the thing. And that's what I say when I tell people, oh yeah, work out for 6 hours a day. It's like, if you've never worked out for an hour a day, don't just be like, okay, I worked out every other day. Now I'm gonna just jump it up to 6 every single day. You're not gonna last. It's not gonna work. You gotta like show up daily. Okay, now let me do a 1 hour a day, 2 hour a day, 3 hour a day. Like you gotta build it up. Like that's kind of how I built it up over time. Like I got to a point where I could do 5 hours a day in a row, no, without stopping. You know what I mean? Without breaks or anything like that. But it just took me a while. You know what I'm saying? I just showed up every day and I just gradually was like, okay, 20 more minutes, 30 more minutes, 20 more shots, 20 more makes. Okay, let me go through that again. Let me go through this again. And gradually over time, I could just withstand that amount of work. And that's the same with anything. Like you got to start off on the lowest thing and just be like, okay, I'm going to go do this thing 10 minutes a day, and eventually you'll just want to do more. I feel like for most people. But this paragraph right here says, to become a good shooter, you must shoot constantly. To become a great shooting team, you must shoot constantly. A player or team cannot take extended days off and expect to come back 100%. If you go on vacation and fail to shoot, chances are quite high that your shot will continue to be on vacation when you return home. In my camps and clinics, I always tell players that if your thumb is the strongest part of your body, used the most in texting and video games, and chances are you'll never be a quality shooter, let alone a good basketball player. And so I think he is like making a joke. And this book is funny, by the way. If you haven't read Pro Shooting Secrets, like this shit right here, I don't have a license to sell it, so I can't like give you printed versions, but there's free ones on my website, grandmasters.com. Like it's one of my favorite books. But he was making a joke like if your thumbs are the strongest thing, on your hands, and you're not gonna be a good shooter because that means you're just like doing this all day and you're not actually shooting a basketball. And so I think that's the first thing to get across, when people think about how to become a good shooter. Like there's no tricks, there's no hacks. It's really just show up and do the fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, through my travels, talking one-on-one to excellent collegiate and professional shooters, I've noticed that these players normally have a tremendous work ethic. This work ethic is a belief that a shooter must shoot every day, 365 days a year, or somewhere close to that. In some ways, it's an obsession that the competition is always working harder than they are. And then the next thing goes into greatness by guilt. And you know what's crazy? Greatness by guilt is a real thing. Like I think I had a little bit of that. I know Kevin Durant talks about how he had that. And it's this like, it's this feeling that you have that, okay, if I miss a day, like, oh, I'm gonna lose the skill that I've been working on. Like, I'm not gonna be as good as I should be because I missed that day. Or like if I have a game on Saturday, like, and I don't practice for one day, I might get ripped because I didn't work on my handle for this day. Like that guilt, or that little like bit of insecurity is, I think it's healthy to have that, and it pushes you to keep doing what it is that you need to do. And so if you feel like that, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think you just really got to take action on it and don't let it paralyze you. I think that's the biggest thing when people think like, what if I'm not prepared? What if I'm not this? What if I'm not that? The number one thing is just prepare. It's like, stop thinking about the past. Stop thinking about the fucking future. Prepare right now. That's the thing that most people forget. Like that's should be your number one answer to all the worries that you have, is prepare right now. But yeah, let me answer some questions. So he says, my friend told me keeping my off and your offhand stiff helps with thumb flick. Is he right? Thumb flick is irrelevant. Thumb flick does not matter. It's all about release. Like Steph Curry is a thumb flick, Kyrie Irving is a thumb flick. So it don't matter. My season just ended and my coach played me as a 6-man even though I deserve to start over this kid. I mean, sometimes that happens. It's hard for me to know because I can't look deep into your situation, but I deserve to start. I deserve to play a lot at a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? I think there's only so many things you can do about it. So you can either, wait it out and go back for another year and like get way better. But you got to also be realistic of like, did you deserve? Because I know kids that are like, man, I should have made the team. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't have made the fucking team. Like, you're not good enough. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell that player like, yo, you're not good enough. You need to do X, Y, and Z. But some people are just delusional. So you can't be delusional. You have to be told the truth of where you're at skill wise. And you have to accept, what people around you are telling you at some point. Like, but you got to ask people that are honest. Like, you can't just ask. Like, some coaches will bullshit you, but I think you got to be able to look at yourself realistically. So it's hard for me to say what you should or shouldn't do based on that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I played behind a player that had 20 turnovers in our first varsity game, and I didn't get in. So, did I deserve to get in? I think so. You know what I'm saying? So, but sometimes like that shit happens, bro. I think you just got to find situations that are best for you, but also be realistic about your game. Offhand guide tip: keep it close to your wrist on your release. That's what I would say. Like when you release the ball, keep your hand close or touch your wrist. That's what's in Pro Shooting Secrets, actually. Touch your wrist on the release. Yeah, you had no confidence to start the season. I mean, sometimes that matters. I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to say. There's a lot of things that go into it. Like, confidence comes with work and experience. And so if you're not confident going into the season, you either don't have enough experience against competition that matters, or you just don't work hard enough and put in enough hours that are meaningful and disciplined and focused and intense. Like, those two things together will give you as much confidence as you need. When playing, I get bumped around and I'm trying to get a strong base. How do I be a brick wall? Lift weights, bro. Like, lift weights and work on your balance. It's really that simple. Like, if you're getting pushed around, that's just a sign that you're not strong enough. So get in the weight room. How do you stop coaches from having favorites? That's like asking. It's like asking, how do I stop people from being racist? Like, you can't. Coaches have favorites, bro. It's just be a favorite. How do I feel about North Star right now? I fuck with North Star. I used to go there, but right now I like their team. I really do like their team. Like, I don't really know much about their head coach. I don't know. Like, I've had a chance to be in the gym with some of those kids, like Jordan and Jaquise and Real, and I wish I could remember their entire roster, but I've had the chance to be in the gym with some of them, so I like them kids. Like, I think they got a chance to be good. Like, I want them to go to state consistently. Like, with the kids they have, they need to be going to state. It's just, I'm sick of seeing boys basketball in Nebraska get dominated by Omaha. is disgusting. There's no reason they should be beating the brakes off us all the time. It does not make any sense. But it's just bad coaching all around. But I'm not saying like North Star's coach is a bad coach, but it's like we're as talented as some of those kids in Omaha. Why are we getting the shit kicked out of us? It has to come down to coaching at some point. But to come back to North Star, like I like I think they got real players. Like Jordan's good as fuck. I like his game. Like I get like you know what I mean? It just depends on some of those other kids. And it depends on him too. I think all of them they really just got to figure out. I think they got to learn what it takes to actually go to state, which it takes a lot more than just being good at basketball. Like I went to state when I was there in 2011. We should not have went to state, but the reason we made it is cuz we are like psychotically competitive. Me and Brandon and Hootie that was there. And we had Eric, we had my boy Tyrell, Creighton, like all these dudes that I played with, like especially me and Brandon and Hootie, like psychotically competitive. That's how you fucking make it to state. It's not just, oh, we're good, we're hooping, yeah, fun. It's like, no, fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? And we won 9 games and still made it. And then we taught the next year how to make it. And then they won a game the next year because all them dudes were pushed by us. And so I like anybody that played with me, like I was pushing you to be better and I was going to compete. And if you weren't bringing your A game, I was probably going to fuck you up on the court. Just that's how it was for me personally. And I think that I brought out a little bit of that in all of them. Like I remember a lot of our players getting into scuffles in practice, like for real. Like the name Kevin would get in a fight with our other center. And it was just like, that's just how we were. Like we were competitive as fuck. And so when it came time to win the district games, we won the district games and we were going. There wasn't no doubt about like we were not about to get bounced. Fuck that. Especially not my senior year. Fuck that. So they got to find that if they want to go to state. You cook them every time in practice. I mean, practice and the game is two different things. There's a lot of people that are great at practice, but when the game comes, like that's going to show who's real and who's not. It really does. Like it really does. You know, I don't think a lot of people understand that still. And it's like, because for me, when the game comes on, like it's just so different. And I'm good at practice. Like I'm good in practice. But when the game comes, I'm a different fucking person. Like, and everybody else is different. Some people go lower and I could see that in them. Like they just don't have that heart to play real in the game. And it's like, you're going to get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the guts to shoot that shit that they were shooting at practice and open gym. I will anything you ever seen me shoot in my life at an open gym or at a practice, I've done it in the game. The only thing I didn't get a chance to do was shake and bake by Jamal Crawford. I used to do that in practice though. I just never got a chance to do it in the game. I don't know if I ever thought about trying it in the game. Would you think it's okay to play AAU even if there's no scouts watching? If you're gonna get the film, yeah. But if you're playing in the middle of nowhere, like it depends what age you are too. Like if you're a freshman, yeah. But for all the people that are freshmen and sophomores, like yeah, it's fine. But if you're getting older, wherever you play, you need to get a film. So it don't even matter. Like you need film. Film is like the number one asset in your basketball career. Film. What makes someone the most valuable on the court? It just depends on. I think being smart. Like you cannot replace a smart player. Like I'm trying to even think. Last year when I had my AAU team, my smartest player was like we were hurt without him. You know what I mean? Like we can't play well without a smart player. So I think being smart takes over everything. Like a smart team will beat the shit out of any other team. I don't care how athletic. I don't care how good you can shoot. I don't care about anything else. Like the smartest team will always win. Can you give you one piece of advice to make it to professional basketball? In order to be a pro, like there's no one size fits all, but there's themes that every, I think, professional has. And it goes like, number one, you need a mentor. No question about it. You need to be told how to get from A to B. Like I never got told like this is what you need to do to get to college. No one ever had that conversation. I wasn't smart enough back then or aware enough to know to ask that. I just thought like just shit just starts happening and then you go to college and you get recruited and shit. Like I didn't know nothing about nothing. Like so you need someone to tell you how to get there first. And then secondly, You need to have good coaches. Like, good coaches is the most underrated thing in your basketball career by a mile. It's not even close. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be coached properly. Playing for a bad coach will ruin your career, 1,000%. And then experience, like, it gets to a point to where so many people have similar skill levels. It's like, okay, this kid can shoot, this kid can play defense, he can pass, left hand, right hand. Okay, now, like, what separates the people that got good at everything? Like, they're good enough at everything. What separates all of them? It comes down to experience, like how good as the competition that you played against. And I think that's what stopped me at times from showing that I was better than other players. Was like, I know my freshman year of high school, like, that's literally what stopped me from being better than I was as a freshman. Like, I had more skills than everybody. Like, no one could out skill me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact that they played against competition in middle school that was just way better than people that I played against. It made them better, and like, they were a little bit smarter. They were a little bit more intense. Like, just little things, that outshined what I had and the skills that I had is literally just because they had a better experience playing basketball. And so I think the experience and who you play against matters. Like, it matters almost more than anything, genuinely. And then the other thing is probably like out, and I'm talking about outside of skill. Like, obviously you need the skills, you got to master the basics and the footwork and all these things, right? But IQ, 1,000%. Like, there's nobody that's playing pro basketball that is not a semi-smart basketball player, unless you just have like an unreal amount of size and speed and athleticism. Like, your IQ doesn't have to be top notch. But if you're just like the average 6'2" basketball player, you got to be smart as fuck. No way around it. You'll get killed. And then the other thing is, there's one more that I fucking thought I was gonna say. Probably just intensity, competitiveness, like those type of things. I think those are what things that make a pro. I've probably made videos on this before. I probably talked about this before, but I really think those are like all those things combined. In the right situation, that's also the other thing. That's the last piece of it. It's like, you gotta find yourself in the right situation. So it's like, if you're playing for a shitty team, or a team that gets no exposure, or a team where you can't play a guard and they're making you play a forward, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these other things matter. So situation is probably the last part. Like, for me, I didn't know to find a better situation. So I had a shitty situation. I had a shitty coach. And this is like my varsity years. Bad situation, bad coach, and no one told me how to get anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't playing the best competition. Like, I barely even played AAU basketball or summer basketball. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it was, looking back now, it's like, okay, there was no fucking way I was making it just based on those things. Like, nobody was helping me, and I didn't know what I was doing. And so, looking back on that, it's like, if I would have had those things, it would have been 10 times easier, because I was putting the work in. You know what I mean? But putting the work in the dark, in the gym where no one's watching, no one knows who you are, is a waste of time. Okay, how do you gain back confidence after coming back from an injury like a torn ACL? So I think, I don't know. Like, I would say, I shouldn't say I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, when I had my knee surgery my senior year, did I come back I came back with the same fire that I had. Like, I didn't miss a beat, I feel like. And I think the way I was able to do that is I did not dwell. Like, when I got surgery, I swear to you, it didn't even, like, if I'm thinking about now, and my memory might be a little bit off, but from what I remember, I don't ever remember like being down on myself or being like, damn, I'm injured or anything, or just like, I just fucking got my surgery, went to PT, physical therapy, and just kept going. Like, you know what I'm saying, stayed in the moment, enjoyed every day as best as I could. Like, I would still be in the gym on my crutches, like, shoot a couple shots, and then I'd go ride the bike. I'd probably try to walk too prematurely, like, all these things. But once I was ready to go, I was ready to go. I didn't give a fuck. Like, but I have a huge amount of pain tolerance, and I'm not afraid to get injured. Like, I trust my body. I think I'm so in tune with my steps, and I'm so in tune with, just like, my mind is so connected to my body that I was never afraid to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because I always felt as if my body, I was in full control of my body. And I think the way I got to that level of like full control within my body is I did so much dangerous shit. Like, and that makes you hyper aware of everything. So like if you're going down a hill full speed on roller skates, you can't miss the smallest, like, you know what I'm saying? You can't fuck that up. And so that level of focus of knowing where my feet are and knowing my balance and understanding, am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Am I about to slip? Like doing a lot of dangerous things, like sliding across frozen lakes in my shoes, sometimes falling and busting my face open. Like being outside riding my scooter barefoot. You know what I'm saying? Like these things made me so aware of my body that I just was never afraid to get hurt. And my balance was just always on par. And my surgery ended up being like something fluky. It was calcification. But I say all that to say that I think you just really gotta stay in the moment. Like you can't dwell on what could have been, what should have been. Like feel bad for yourself. You just gotta move on. Like you don't really have a choice. You know what I'm saying? And it's never over. Like I think people think when they get an injury, they're like, oh, it's a fucking over. It's gonna take forever to heal. I'll never be the same. I never once thought that I was never gonna be the same. I was just trying to get back to being the same. I didn't worry about what I was or wasn't gonna be. I just worried about what am I doing to get back to where I need to be. Like it's that simple. You know what I'm saying? And like even through all the times that my knee bugged me or it was hurting, like I didn't really care that much or think that much about it. It was just like, what can I do to keep getting healthier and better and make my knee feel, you know, like it needs to feel. And I just put all my focus into that instead of, you know, thinking about other shit. And then I just put in the work, the same work that I put in before that made me good is just, I just went back to the drawing board and just let me get my reps in, let me get my experience, let me play, let me do what I did before that made me good and just stay intense and then get healthy. Like that's it. That's really it. I think you just got to stay in the moment. How do you stay motivated to work every day? I think you got to have a big enough reason to go. Like for me, the reason I went every day was like I just loved basketball for number one, and I genuinely believed that like what I was doing was going to work to get me to be a professional player. It's really the belief. Like, do you believe that all this stuff can work? If you don't believe that what you can, like, you gotta have a clear goal and a clear direction of where you're going. Like you can't just go to the gym aimlessly. Like you don't even know what you want. You got to know what do you want out of this game? Do you want to be a pro? Do you want to just go to college? Like you're trying to get a scholarship, whatever it is you're trying to do. And then it's like, how do you do that? It's like, okay, put in hours, do these things, and then you just do the things. Like you got to want that end goal bad enough, and you got to you really do like that love the process shit. You actually do got to love the process, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I used to go back and forth like, does that matter? And it matters in a way. It matters if you want to be great. Like you can be good and not love the process and just go do the things. Like it's not going to stop you from getting results. But if you want ultimate results and you are trying to be great or you're trying to go far, or you're trying to be a pro and all these other things, like you actually have to love showing up and grinding. Like I didn't like running. I didn't like lifting and doing all these things. But in a way, like I liked the all-encompassing grind of just like going to work every day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm back in the gym now. I just did an hour and a half of form shooting to work on my shot and my flow and my shot path and these things. Cause like I just missed the grind of just like getting up, putting in work. You know what I'm saying? And I think you got to figure out how to enjoy that process of putting in work. And you have to believe that it's leading somewhere. Like for me, the reason I go right now to do the form shooting every day now is just because I believe it's going to work and it's going to make my shot more comfortable. I don't want to have an uncomfortable jump shot. So my goal is to be able to shoot flawlessly without thinking about, my technique or hating my technique. And so I feel like if I go to the gym every day and I do what I'm supposed to do, that can happen. And so my why is just, I want to shoot comfortably and be happy shooting the basketball. And so that makes me go to the gym every day and do form shooting. So you have to figure out a reason that matches the work that you want to put in. And believe it and love it. And you're focused on too much bullshit, bro. I can already see it in this I'm in my freshman year and my problem is I give too much credit to others even though I work more. You're focused on too much bullshit. You're just too much fucking bullshit, bro. Like seriously. Like focus on you. Fuck everybody else. Like when people used to ask me about all these kids and all these other names from other schools, like I don't give a fuck. I don't care about whoever from Southeast. I don't care. I literally don't care. I don't even care about my next teammate, about what he's working on or his shit. Like, he'll have to see me at open gym or at practice one day and I'll whoop his ass. So, that's how I felt. Like, you're focused on too much bullshit. Focus on the game. Can we get some Rob Dillingham film? Yes, I am due for that. I've been thinking about that. Thank you for reminding me. Let me write that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I need to. I've been wanting to. I just haven't got around to it. So thanks for the reminder. How to surpass everyone? Focus. Stop worrying about bullshit. Fucking focus. Like, I can't even describe the level of focus I'm trying to describe. It's like completely be locked into the moment. That's it. That's it. So many people are out of the moment because they're worried about the future and the past and all this other horse shit. Forgive the past and forgive the people of the past and forgive yourself for the past of like not doing things better or whatever it is, and just know that you did the best that you could with the information that you had and what you knew in the situation that you were in. Fucking get over it. The future is some shit that don't exist, that you can't control. You can want something, but don't be so attached of like what if this happens, what if that happens, what if it goes bad, what if coach this, what if I'm not good enough, who gives a fuck? Do the things that are required to make you good enough for when that moment comes. That's it. So you don't have any control over the future. You have control over what are you going to do right now that affects the future. And so it's like lock in. That's how you fucking surpass everybody. If you're a redshirt in college while having zero basketball experience, I don't know why I'm laughing at this. While having zero basketball experience, what would you recommend? Getting experience, bro. Like, experience is 9/10 of the game. You can study and get in the gym and do all this shit and watch all these videos, but if you ain't playing, it's over for you, bro. So, just telling you now. Like, get experience. Go to the Y. Go to like the lowest barrier to entry to gain experience. You need to find that today. Like all this red shirt shit, you need to be on the basketball court in the real game as fast as possible. Like ASAP, bro. ASAP and at infinity. When do you think I should start worrying about trying to get college coaches to notice me? When you're fully developed. Sometime in high school. Like, I think people think that it's going to be too late at some point or all these other things. Like, your last AAU summer is all that matters. All that matters. The last summer you play. Because we've seen a lot of players like that get hyped up their freshman year and then it's like their senior year and you're wondering, where the fuck is this kid? He was good as fuck as a freshman. What happened? Why ain't he going XYZ? What happened? Flip it the other way. You know what I'm saying? Just when you're fully developed and be ready to be seen, that's when you should start getting college coaches to notice you. You know what I'm saying? When you feel like you can be effective in the game. So like if you still struggle with a ton, I wouldn't be worried about getting watched right now. Like I don't want a coach to come see me fucking up in the game. Like, well, that's worthless. You just got scratched off the list. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're fully developed and you feel like, okay, I'm ready, like I can make a real impact in games, that's when you should start thinking about it. But ideally, going into your junior season is like ideal. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people do it prematurely, but if you ain't ready, you ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be fully ready and then get seen than get seen before I'm fully ready. That's my idea. Is watching full games and studying the detail the most effective way to increase basketball IQ? It's a combination. It's a combination of, I don't think there's one most effective way. I think you have to do a few things in order to increase your IQ. I think one of those things, yes, like watching the full games and studying the details, easily the most, the quickest path because you could just turn it on, right? The next two things is, like I said before, experience. Experience fucking matters, man. I'm telling you, it matters. And then the third thing is the coaches you play for. Like, I learned a shit ton from just having a couple good coaches here and there. Seriously. And so you have to play for coaches that can actually teach you the game. Like, it doesn't matter what their team's looking like. If they're the best team ever and the coach ain't teaching you jack shit. It's a waste of time, pretty much. Like, and so I think having a really good coach to teach you, getting the experience of just playing over and over, and playing with people that are good, because other people that are good, like if you're decently on their level or whatever, they'll help you. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, hey, just do this next time, or like that's what we would do. When I was young, like me and all my teammates, or not, I shouldn't even say all of them, just like there's a few teammates that I had here and there. It's like where we helped each other with basketball. Like they would teach me something, I would teach them something. They would show me how to do something in the game, like, or they would show me how to do a skill or show me how to practice a certain way. I would show them like, okay, this is how you work on this, or that's how you practice this thing, or this is something you could do in the game. This is how you beat the strat. Like we would do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the experience comes in, and just being around a lot of players. And then the film part is like watch decision making, ask what if, see if you can predict what's about to happen on a game you haven't seen, and just like watch the non-fancy part. Like don't watch the, ooh, he did a double cross tween whatever. It's like, okay, he's low every time he does that move. That's, you're watching a different part of the move. Like that's what you got to watch. And I think those are, and then just like straight up copy, bro. Copy paste. Like Kobe's one of the greatest players of all time. He literally just copied Michael Jordan. It's not a mystery, you know what I mean? Should I worry about people that are younger than me and that are better than me? If you just listen to everything I said, the answer is fuck no, fuck them. What impact do they have on your career? None. It's just get better. Literally, it's like there's always going to be somebody coming up. There's always going to be somebody coming up that's ready. Like my freshman class, like when we were coming in, we were beating the seniors sometimes at open gym. We were beating them. Like we should have beat them in a 4-on-4. We got cheated. That's a different story. But like the 4-on-4 tournament, like me and all my freshman teammates, like we was out there to kill. So all them seniors, we didn't give a fuck about none of them. Like we were ready to kill. And that's what we tried to do. And there's always going to be somebody like that underneath you. So like my next year, there's freshmen coming in ready to kill me. And I'm just like, I got to be good. Like there's another he's nice. I got to play him. You know what I mean? Like that shit don't stop. It's just, you got to be ready for it. But worrying about it is the first way to not be ready for it. Just work on your game and be ready. How do you attack the rim in games instead of being more spot up shooter? I think you have to be conscious. Like you got to be conscious of like, okay, I'm going to make an effort to go to the basket. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to do it at open gyms. You got to do it in one-on-ones. Like you just got to consciously go to the basket, go to the basket, go to the basket. 5-on-5s, 3-on-3s, like go to the basket. Like open gym is the best way to practice things. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'll go to open gyms and be like, okay, I'm shooting all jumpers. I'm shooting a ton of threes or whatever, you know? Like you got to be insanely conscious and purposeful when you're on the court. Just be aware enough to know when you get the ball, you're going to try to go to the basket and figure that out. How to play against a physical Pat Bev defender. You got to be unfazed by the physicality, and you got to be physical yourself. Like I'm trying to think of the players that played physical with me. The way I overcame it was just like I was super disciplined in my fundamentals, so I tried my best to not get rattled by the physicality. But at the same time, like I'm physical as fuck too. Like my junior year, I'm benching 225, and my legs were like strong as fuck, and so we can do the physical shit if you want to. that's how I overcame it. You know, I'm not scared of boxing out at 6'6" center. Yeah, you haven't played high school, but you've always hooped. Okay, but this is what people gotta understand. Organized basketball matters. Like you could always hoop and all this shit, but like if you never played organized, bro, you've missed out on so much. There's just little shit that you can't learn at the pickup courts or you know what I'm saying, at the Y or wherever you played at. Like you just can't learn certain shit there. It's like the same analogy I always give. It's like the street fighter versus the amateur boxer. If there's a street fighter who's only gotten to street fights, like he just fighting randos on the regular, 1,000 street fights, he will get his ass kicked by an amateur boxer that's 1-1. And every single time, it wouldn't even be close. Like, I know y'all seen them videos of dudes just walking in the gym like, I can beat you. I've been in street fights, XYZ. And then it's just, this dude's getting knocked left and right. Like that shit's real, bro. So that's what I compare it to. It's like you can't expect to be good if you've never played organized basketball and you just jump into an organized situation. Like you'll just get ran off the court, to be quite honest with you. It just doesn't compare. How long does it take to get better at handles? That's a question that's like a I hate that question. It's just as long as it takes, bro. I have no real answer for you. But that type of question is like you're trying to do the bare minimum to get the most results. That's what that question leads me to believe. It's like, okay, how long does it take? Oh, 3 weeks. Okay, let me do it for 3 weeks. And then if it don't happen in 3 weeks, man, see, it didn't work, man. It's just do it until you're good. You quit near the end of the season because your coach didn't play you. That's the no. It wasn't best to quit. Quitting is like the last option, bro. Like quitting, that shit's soft. I ain't gonna lie. I've never quit, even in the toughest situations. I'm not quitting. Like, 'cause you just gotta grind it out, bro, and stick it, and just like unless you're quitting for a purpose, to like there's something else to it. Like I quit track in order to play basketball. I didn't quit track because I didn't like track, which I didn't really like track, but they wouldn't let me play open gym basketball. And so it's like, well, if I want to play basketball, that's ultimately what I love the most. And the track coaches won't allow me to do that. I'm quitting track in order to play basketball. But quitting to quit and then you're in the middle of nothing, that shit's soft, I ain't gonna lie. And he played the people that didn't care as much as you did. I mean, if you cared that much, you wouldn't have quit. That's the thing. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's like, I gotta tell you the real shit. It's like, you can't just fucking quit, because then what if you try out next year? They're always gonna remember, damn, this kid quit. That's literally what happens. Like, they cut kids that quit the season before. Because it's just like a mental thing of like, okay, you're a quitter. When shit gets hard, you're just gonna quit. That's what you're gonna do. Like, that's how they're gonna view you. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I would view. Like, I don't blame them for viewing people that way. It's like, you're gonna quit just because shit gets hard. You're a quitter. And so, do you want to be known as a quitter? Just every time it gets tough, you're gonna fucking quit because you ain't playing? Like, that shit's soft. Like, you gotta fucking man up and play. You know what I mean? And just go through the practices and get better. Who's an underrated player to study in the NBA? Probably. Ooh. I don't know. I'll have to come back to that. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. Probably some of the Europeans. Sangoon. I like Chet. He's tall as fuck. Who's the European from Washington? I heard he's pretty good. I've heard some stuff. I haven't got a chance to like dig in deep into his game. But I don't know. I like the number 2 from the Warriors. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. That dude that they just launched into the starting lineup. I like his game. He's really smart. I would say him. But I really only study superstars, to be honest. So I don't study like role players and shit. Like, I watch them, but I don't like study them in depth because there's a star that does what they do 10 times better. Guard quick shifty guards. You got to be smart. Like, you can't react to everything. You got to dictate and keep them in one place and read what their habits are. Like, defense is more than just athleticism and effort. You got to be smart and pick up on tendencies and read their fakes and stuff like that. How tall am I? Same exact size as Kyrie Irving. That's what I always say. Off-ball movement. I don't know what you mean by... Oh, thoughts on the Golden State Warriors? They're smart, finally, for... like I said, what's crazy is I said a bunch of shit at the beginning of the season. I said the Lakers were screwed 3 games in. I made a video saying that Draymond was doing more harm than good before he got suspended. And I said that they're going to have to make real decisions and actually play the kids that are good. And so they made real decisions and they started. So what I thought they should do is what they're doing right now. I think they're giving it a last go. I don't know what they're going to do next year. It's less about what they're doing now and more about what they're going to do next year. They have to make real decisions about Draymond Green, bro, and Klay Thompson. They just do. And so I don't know if it's trading those two in a package deal for a wing star. Like, would you give up? Like, if Boston doesn't win the finals, Would you trade Draymond and Clay to Boston for Jason Tatum and have them keep Jaylen Brown? And then I don't know. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit up in the air, but I think they need a legitimate wing that can play like a superstar. You know, like you can't just roam around in the league without that. How can the NBA change the competitive nature of the game because it's ruined? Of what game? The actual game or the All-Star game? I don't think the competitive nature of the actual game is ruined. I think the All-Star game is ruined. You learned a lot about organized ball through the redshirt year. Yeah, I think that's like that experience. Like I'm saying, like that organized experience is real. I think you just need that. You need as much of that as you can get. As much of that as you can get. What advice for upcoming ninth grader who hasn't played AAU ball? Depends who you are. Depends what you need. Like, it's the same shit I've been saying. It's the same shit I've been saying. If you've been listening, I've been telling you the advice. What is the best way I should approach my sophomore year so I can play my best? Same shit I've been saying. Focus. Fucking focus and get experience. Like, and I have to be so direct so y'all can understand that I'm like making a real point. I feel like sometimes people aren't listening to what I'm actually saying. I'm like laying out the fucking blueprint, and then I get questions of like, what should I do going into my freshman year? Like, I'm not pissed at the question, but you're not listening. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to listen to exactly what I'm saying. I'm telling you, like, fucking focus, get experience, be around good players and good coaches. That's my advice. What is better to do for bounce? Lift or plyometrics? Both. Both, bro. When you're practicing dribble pull-ups, do you practice dribbling before? What? I don't understand that question. Do I practice dribbling before? The order in which I practice is dribbling, layups, floaters, form shooting, off the dribble shooting, in that order. I need to start chopping up my lives. I think the time just be going so quick. Like I feel like every time I film a live, the next thing you know, it's literally Wednesday and I haven't chopped a single clip out. So I need to just like lock in on that. They should do a 1v1 in the All-Star game. They should. My one-on-one matchups that I already thought about: KD versus Luka, Embiid versus Jokic, Kyrie versus Steph, and Anthony Edwards versus Jason Tatum. I'd watch that. I would fucking watch that. And then one more. I'm trying to think who else. That's what I'm saying. Kyrie versus Curry, bro. That'd be the main event. I think that'd be the main event over Luka and KD, to be honest. A Trae Young versus if Ja Morant was healthy, a Trae Young versus Ja Morant, that'd actually be a good match. I think Trae Young would like destroy him, to be honest. But that'd be a good ass matchup. I think that'd be the polarizing matchup because I think they have two I think Ja Morant almost has like a cult following, literally. Like I don't understand how he has so many fans, but he just does. And then Trae Young is like a lot of people hate him, a lot of people love him. Like I'm a big Trae Young fan, so like him versus Ja, that would be insane. I think them would be the best. Those would be the best matchups. Do I think practicing threes are more necessary than mid-range? I think they're both important. They both matter. Oh, do I just do dribble pull-ups out of triple threat? I do both. Best way to get athletic and just be quicker in general on the court. A lot of footwork drills like ladder drills, jump rope, like pogo jumps, change in direction drills, like just a lot of different drills, bro, to be honest. Like a lot of different drills, like work on moving faster, you know what I'm saying? And get stronger, stretch, like plyos, lifting weights and shit. Just a lot of shit, bro. I don't think there's a direct way, but I think there's a lot of things that you can try out and just do it over and over and be consistent with it. Do I have advice for trash talking and not let it get to your head? Um, I think you gotta have like an inner confidence. You gotta have like an inner confidence. To not, because like I got trash talk from like day one that I touched a fucking basketball all the way up to the end of my career. So it didn't get to me because I had an inner confidence because I put in so much work. It's like I don't care what you're talking about. Like it's just you could say I'm trash, but you know it's not true. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's my approach. It's like okay, like like it's not true. But even the people that had never seen me play is just like I just let my game talk for the most part. So I would shoot shots and somebody'd be like, hell no. And then I'd go in and I'd be like, yeah, you thought. Like that shit's going in, bro. And you know what I'm saying? Like I talk shit back. Like I'm really good at talking shit. So I think inner confidence comes first. His aura, yeah, probably. Best way to get a quicker release. I would say just like practice outside your comfort zone, like shoot uncomfortably fast. I really think that's what it is. Is like you got to get in the moment, like really get in the moment, lock in and focus on going super fast. You know what I'm saying? I think people that can't push themselves to go faster than they normally would, they just simply are not locked in enough to the moment. They're too worried about other bullshit. They're too worried about judging themselves when they make a mistake. Just all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta figure out a way to detach from everything that's going on, or you gotta detach from all mistakes. Not even like, don't even flinch when you make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll be able to focus on actually moving faster. Best advice on consistency and performing good every game. I would say in order to be consistent and play good every game, like you can't guarantee playing good every game, but I think you got to have a consistent work ethic. You got to be consistently focused and consistently intense. Like you can't half-ass. Like that's the number one thing, bro. Like I think you just can't half-ass anything that you do. Cuz I'm trying to think in the seasons that I played well, I think on my junior season, yeah, the times that I was playing well, like consistently, I think I was locked in every single day. Like there wasn't a day where I'm like, okay, I'm a slack. Like there's no off switch, with this shit. Like you can't just, oh, I'm chilling today. Like that shit don't exist for the top performers, bro. It just don't. You got to be on every day. Like think about when I do these lives, bro. I'm on every day. Like I got a billion things to do. I got a to-do list right there. Shit I got to do. I'm about to leave my house in a little bit. I got to go to the store. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to edit some videos. I got to work on shit. Like I got to plan for AAU. I got to do all this shit. But when I do this, I'm not just like, y'all ain't never seen me be on here like, oh, I'm chilling today. Y'all, I'm not into it. I don't really want to answer. It's just bull. Like I don't get on this live and just, you know what I'm saying, half-ass. Like I'm all chips in. And then when it's over, it's over. I go into the next thing. I think you got to do that every single day and just stay in the moment. Bring that energy, you know what I'm saying? Focus up and like, and when I say bring that energy, like you got to conjure up energy. You know what I'm saying? Like I can bring out the same energy that I would use to play real basketball games. I can bring that out right this second and go and practice and use that energy to practice. Like I just know how to bring the energy and bring the force and the emotion and the intensity and all these things that I need in order to like peak during practice or like during games or during workouts or whatever it is. Like I know how to do that every single time without like no, regardless of what's been going on, regardless of whether I've been sick, regardless of whether some shit went bad, or regardless of relationships that I have, or regardless of how things are with my parents or school or money or whatever the fuck, I can get into a setting and say, fuck all that. I'm here right now and get the energy going and go. I can do that. You have to learn how to do that for yourself. It's that simple. That's the consistency because when the game comes and that energy is there, you might not be used to it. You might not be used to the nerves or the intensity of the environment and all these other things if you haven't been doing that consistently. And so if you're able to do that consistently of like just bring the energy and that intensity, then the game is like it's gonna be light to perform well. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be expected. Trash talking and physical defense always slow me down. So I'm glad this helped you, bro. I really am. I think it's part of the game. Like physical, like those two things are like the baseline to being good. Like if you can't get past physical defense and you can't handle trash talk, like you probably won't even make it to high school basketball. Like straight up, like you won't make it to varsity. I believe that for the most part in most places. You never be a high level performer if you can't go through those things, you know. And you don't have to curse to trash talk well. You got to find your own style of trash talk. Like I curse just because I curse. Like I'll drop an F-bomb. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to do that in order to be a good trash talker. Like you got to figure out your own style within your own personality. And so my personality is like direct and precise. You know what I'm saying? Like I like some of the trash talk things I've said. I've told somebody like my left hand's better than your left hand and they're left-handed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a righty. Like I've said things like that specific. You know what I'm saying? And like you know what I mean? Like and then I've said like if you can't guard, like if I've literally been in the gym being like, if you can't guard me, you shouldn't be talking. Like, so, and then I was like, so it should be dead silent right now. Like that was something I've said in in an environment of trash talking. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but that comes from the truth. It's like, I know y'all can't guard me and y'all know y'all can't guard me. So it's like, if that's the case, then why is anybody talking? You know? And so that's my style of trash talk. It's just like super precise and direct to the heart. How to handle full court pressure and how to read defender. That's vague as fuck. I would say watch my playlist. Watch my playlist. That'll answer more than I can say right now. Did I play JV or varsity basketball? Both. I played both, brother. So I'm going to answer this last one. I'm about to close out the chat, so I won't be able to see any more chats. How do I build my mental toughness? I'm about to answer that. Oh, you're lucky I just saw what happened to that book you printed. It's right here. It's Pro Shooting Secrets. You can get the PDF on my website, grandmasterhoops.com. Free resources. It's free. Totally free. Can we collab on YouTube? No, we cannot. No offense, but I can't do collabs right now. I just can't. I don't have the energy for collabs at the moment. So ask me in like a year and see what I say then. Right now, I'm taking no collabs. No collabs, bro. I'm sorry to tell you, but no collabs, brother. Grandmasterhoops.com. That's the website. All right, let me answer this last question, then I'm out. How to build. Just go to it. It's not in my bio. The one in my bio is it's my academy. It's my online academy. It's $99 for a year. It's film study. It's in depth, a bunch of shit. $99 for the year. I think it's pretty fucking good. That's the one that's in my bio, but grandmasterhoops.com is the real one. I'll put it back up tomorrow in my bio so y'all can see it, but just go to it. Free resources. The free shooting book is there. Shooting 101 will teach you how to shoot, all this other shit. There's good free shit on there, good paid shit on there, whatever you want. But let me answer this question. How to build mental toughness. All right, closing the chat. Can't see any chats anymore. I took it off my screen. In order to build mental toughness, I think you gotta, number one is you can't be judgmental of how you handle tough situations. I think that's the first part. Because if you always judge yourself of like the first time you do something that's tough and it doesn't go well, or you don't perform and like you get super hung up on how it went, I think that's just the first sign of mental weakness. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much judgment on the things that you do in tough situations. I think you just got to be super logical about it, and be like, okay, and you got to be honest with yourself. Like, so number one, don't judge yourself for what it is. You just got to be honest about it. So you can be honest without judging. You can be like, okay, yeah, when I play pressure defense, I turn it over and I don't play well. That's being honest, but don't be like, man, I suck, or I'm trash, or I'll never be good because XYZ. Like, you can't go into that level of it. And so I think those two things alone will help you the most. And just like look at it for what it is and just be like, okay, when I play good competition or when I get pressed, like these things go bad. And then you have to ask why. Like, are you just genuine? And it's okay to say you're nervous or say you're scared or say whatever it is. I think that's the first step of being mentally strong, is just acknowledgement of the truth. The people that I know that are mentally the weakest, they just can't handle the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like the raw truth of just like, this is what it is. You got to be able to handle the truth and look yourself in the mirror and look at your flaws and just be like, all right, I know, this is how I am. I know I shrink under pressure because I'm scared. Like, I remember being in 5th grade and my first ever basketball camp, like, one of the dudes got hurt and it was the end of the game and we needed a game-winning shot. And I fucking went to the bathroom, bro. I was out. I didn't want to go in. I was fucking scared. You know what I mean? But over time, I overcame that, just through experience and getting better. And then, like, the next year I came back to the same camp and I was just, like, the main guy. And I would dribble a ball at the court and nobody wanted to guard me and I would shoot. And like, you know what I'm saying? So I evolved through that, but I never judged myself for being in that moment and being scared. You know what I'm saying? I just is what it is. And then be conscious enough to know, like the third level, like after you stop judging yourself, after you become brutally truthful with whatever it is. Actually, I always turn off my chat. And sometimes that shit probably freezes up. I want to make sure it's not frozen. Okay, it's still on. The next level of that is to really be conscious, bro. Like, awareness and consciousness can help you out of so many situations. And so if you're doing something that's very hard, like, just literally in your mind be like, I am not quitting. I will fucking collapse before I quit. You know what I'm saying? And do the hard stuff, like do the extra runs, do the hard lifts. When you really don't feel like it, go to the gym when you really don't feel like it. Like that repetition over and over of doing things that you genuinely don't feel like doing, that's going to make you mentally tougher. Because I used to do this thing when I would lift weights. I used to do this in high school. When I'd get to my last set and it would be like super, super tough. And like, there's always that moment where you feel like, okay, I want to quit. I would literally in my mind think about, damn, like, what would Kobe do? Or what would like MJ do? Like, I would have those real thoughts with myself mid-set, mind you, and just be like, man, they wouldn't quit, or they would push through that shit. And then I would just like find some fucking energy and like struggle my way through the last part of it. And I would do that all the time, and I was willing to do anything. I was willing to do the hardest workouts that existed. I did the Tim Grover jump attack book. Like, that's the hardest workout that I've ever done in my life. It's fucking hard, bro. And like, I'd go through it and be like, either I'm going to finish this or I'm going to collapse, but I'm not quitting. And I just stuck to that decision. You know what I'm saying? I can't it's hard to look at yourself when you quit things that are hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to look at yourself when you're not honest about who you are as well. And so I think those two things combined can take you down a path of mental toughness. I think that's really what it is. And so I hope that made sense, but it's really just make a decision to be tough in the toughest situation. So be conscious enough to know I'm in a tough situation. I can either quit or I can man up, and make the conscious choice to man up. And the more times you make conscious decisions to do the right thing, the more you'll be used to doing that. And then you're mentally tough after that. So appreciate y'all. I'm out. I don't have no good outro. Go to grandmasterhoops.com. Sign up for my academy. $99 for the year. You can just, I'm gonna make a new video for that tomorrow. I need to make way more before the month's out, but $99 for the year. IQ film studies, hour long, good shit in there. How to attack one-on-one video full, off ball offense, one-on-one full, or that's not even one-on-one thing. One-on-one defense, full 1 hour video. Like, I got some good shit in there. Join it. It's in the bio. But if you want some free shit, grandmasterhoops.com. All right, bye. I'm out.